Okay, so we're going to look at some of the canyon rigging now, and specifically we're going to look at a top belay in the canyon. I guess this is not a canyon environment, but we're going to sort of replicate the rigging. Generally, when you rock up to an anchor in a canyon, it's a really good idea just to clip yourself in, because they're typically very close to the edge of the drop, and then do some sort of anchor inspection. So if it's a sling around a tree, check the anchor thoroughly, make sure you're happy with it. Check any fixed hardware, make sure that it's not from Bunnings, and make sure it's actually rated hardware and that you're happy with it. The next thing to think about is where you're clipped in, and if you're going to crowd the anchor point that you're planning to rig from. So I'm happy with this anchor, and I'm going to move on to the rigging. So at this point I've determined that my pitch is 20 meters long, and a lot of this information is readily available. You can find it online. If it says the longest pitch is 20 meters, then I'm going to want a 25 plus meter rope, because that gives me the ability to rig for rescue, which is what we want. So the red rope is going to be my abseil line. And I'm just going to lay it out neatly and thread it through the fixed hardware on the anchor. And then I'm going to do the same with the belay line. In this context, I've gone with the red rope for my abseil line because it's a thicker rope, and then the 10mm rope versus the 11mm rope as my belay. Okay, I'm going to join the two ropes together, and I'm going to do that with a flat overhand. And I'm going to allow a minimum of 30 centimeters of tail here, but I'm going to push towards 40 centimeters. It's really important that when we join the ropes with this, that we take the time to tighten it. I like to tighten it from all 4 strands. Make sure it's dressed correctly, cinched up, ready to go. Okay, now I'm going to rig my abseil line, and I'm going to just use a munter hitch in this system. Often in the canyon environment, we don't have a lot of room to extend in front of our anchor, to extend our munter hitch out, so on and so forth. So I think I'm just going to put the munter hitch straight in to the malleon. And then I'm going to estimate my 4 meters of rope that I need for rescue. Put my munter hitch in. Tie it off, so the slip knot. And my half hitches. I'm just getting all those air gaps out while I put my half hitches in. Okay, I've got a nice long tail on my munter hitch that's tied off. I'm just going to seat it all, get it nice and snug. And I'm going to clip back the tail of my tie off. Okay, so at this point my abseil line's complete. In the canyon environment, it's important that we do the abseil line first, because if we're guiding with another guide, it means that this abseil rig now is available for them to go ahead and start either managing people at the bottom, rope below, pre-rigging another obstacle, or just keeping the group moving, because it can be a cold environment. So that's available for my other guide to move ahead with a self belay on. I'm going to rig my belay next, and I'm just going to isolate the back end of this rope. I'm going to do that with a figure 8 on the bite. And on this anchor configuration, I'm going to clip this in to the webbing. And by doing that, I've created an offset between my belay and my abseil line, meaning that if I need to rescue on this, they're not going to sandwich together under load. Now I need to think about where my belay device is going to be and how I'm going to belay. I've got a few options here. On this particular rig, I'm just going to go for an ATC. I'm happy that this is a good point where I can see over the edge and dispatch. So I'm just going to put my ATC roughly at my back foot. Now I can think about how I want to organise my system for my canyoning guests to arrive. So the majority of people being right-handed are going to be on this side. So I'm just going to take my belay line and just flake it over here on this other side. Now, generally speaking in the canyon, I like to tie people into the end of my belay line rather than clip them in with a barrel knot and carabiner. Although that's sort of personal preference, and the terrain will often dictate what you need to do. There could be grooves or slots or constrictions in the abseil itself that if you pull a rope back up with a carabiner tied in the end or a knot left in the end, it could become jammed on the way up. So I like to tie people in, get them to fully remove the knot at the base of the pitch, and then I can just pull the free rope up.